One sentence just erased a team president, and it might erase the Indiana Fever's future. Because buried deep in a 9-month-old press conference is a promise so bold, so specific, and now so obviously broken, it's got fans asking whether Caitlin Clark was ever part of the plan to begin with. Stick around, because by the end of this video you'll know exactly what the Fever sold, and why it could cost them everything. It wasn't subtle, the campaign literally screamed, "Now you know." Billboards went up, season tickets vanished. And for the first time in a decade, Fever fans didn't just have hope, they had expectations. This was supposed to be the year it all flipped. A new front office, a modern head coach, the league's biggest star resting, locked in and ready to take over. And Caitlin Clark wasn't coming into a rebuild, she was entering what the team called championship mode. Win now, title or bust. They weren't just talking like contenders, they were spending like it. Veterans were signed, practices were closed, and the marketing machine, unstoppable. 12 of the first 13 home games sold out in record time. But hype is fragile, and once reality showed up, things started cracking fast. Next up, what fans got instead, and why it felt like betrayal. Reality didn't knock, it slammed through the door. Barely a month into the season, Caitlin Clark had already missed multiple games. First, a quad tweak. Then, a groin strain. Now, minute restrictions. For a player known for her durability, it felt like the wheels were wobbling way too early. And the rest of the team, inconsistent isn't even the word. Some nights they looked unstoppable, beating legit contenders like the Liberty, Dream, even the Aces. Other nights they got blown out by the Sparks. Twice. Through it all, one decision was impossible to ignore. The Fever were playing Clark off the ball. Not sometimes, not as a wrinkle, as a system. And that made no sense. Because this is a player who thrives with the ball in her hands, dictating tempo, breaking down defenses, pulling defenders like a magnet. That's not just an opinion. That's Caitlin's own words, multiple times. When you take the ball away from your best creator, you take the air out of your offense. And that's exactly what fans were watching, night after night. But then came the spark that set everything on fire. It started with a single sentence. One quote from Fever president Kelly Crosskopf that didn't just raise eyebrows, it detonated an entire fan base. Yes, we have foundational players in Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston, but we want to be an enduring brand like Apple. Sounds harmless, right? On paper, maybe, but in the real world, it hit like a slap in the face. Because to fans, this wasn't just some corporate branding fluff. This felt like erasure. As if Caitlin Clark, the literal reason the Fever are relevant, profitable, and selling out arenas, was just another cog in a machine. And the response, immediate and brutal. Comment sections exploded, hashtags flew. It became a headline on Fox News, The New York Post, Yahoo Sports, Daily Mail. By the time the dust settled, Crosskopf had deleted her entire X account. Fans weren't just mad, they were insulted. Because let's be clear, Caitlin Clark didn't join the brand. She became the brand. But here's the part no one was ready for. That quote, that wasn't from this week. It wasn't even from this season. It was from 2024. And that somehow makes it all way worse. If you think fans overreacted, let's just look at the numbers. Since Caitlin Clark entered the WNBA, the Fever's value has exploded, up 273%, now estimated at $335 million. That's third in the league. Before she arrived, Indiana was drawing around 4,000 fans per game. Now, over 17,000. That's a 318% spike, unmatched in franchise history. But it doesn't stop there. League-wide viewership up 170% on ESPN. But here's the twist, 45% of that value came from her games. When Caitlin plays, the league gets prime time. When she sits, ratings tank. Teams moved games to NBA arenas when she was in town. Merch flew off shelves, ticket prices tripled, every team's valuation doubled or more. So when Kelly compared the Fever to Apple, fans had a simple answer: Caitlin Clark isn't the iPad. She's the iPhone, the MacBook, the AirPods. She's the entire product line. And the worst part, the Fever were treating her like an accessory. All season long, the strategy's been the same. Take the ball out of Caitlin's hands, keep it moving, run a motion-heavy offense where everyone touches the rock. That sounds good on paper, but it's basketball malpractice when your best player is a once-in-a-generation playmaker. Because here's what happens instead. The pace slows, the offense stalls. Role players try to run sets they weren't built for, while Caitlin waits in the corner. It's not just frustrating, it's infuriating. Especially when she's told everyone, I'm best when I have the ball. And let's be honest, this isn't just a bad system, it's a broken promise. Because everything about this franchise, every interview, every press release, every hype video sold us Caitlin Clark basketball. Fast, dynamic, fearless. Instead, fans are watching a team that looks confused about what it is, and somehow confused about who it has. And it's not just the coaching, it's the roster too. Let's rewind. After the draft, Fever leadership made it crystal clear. We're building around Caitlyn. Free agents will want to come play her style. So who'd they bring in? Dewana Bonner, a respected vet, sure, but gone after 9 games. Why? Fit issues. Translation, she didn't mesh with the system or the star. Then there's Natasha Howard. Not awful, but she's been spotted dribbling past Caitlyn, waving off plays and dragging possessions into isolation sets. At one point, she even said she wanted to be MVP. That clip hits very different now. Because if this roster was built to amplify Caitlyn's gifts, it's hard to see it. The pieces don't fit, the chemistry's off. And the worst part, these weren't accidents, they were choices. The Fever didn't stumble into this mess, they walked into it with eyes wide open. Next up, why rival teams are already circling, and how this might all end with Caitlyn leaving. You think the rest of the league hasn't noticed? They're watching this meltdown like vultures circling a wounded animal. Caitlyn Clark might be under contract, but stars like her don't stay stuck forever. Trade rumors are already popping up on podcasts, YouTube channels, and Reddit threads. One keeps coming up again and again, the Golden State Valkyries. They've got the cash, they've got the exposure. And unlike Indiana, they'd build the entire system around Caitlyn from day one. Fast-paced, big-market spotlight, a modern offense designed to elevate, not restrain. Don't underestimate how tempting that could be. Because while the Fever are still figuring things out, the rest of the league is figuring out how to get her. Court her now or watch her walk later. And if she leaves, Indiana doesn't just lose a player. They lose everything. Fever fans didn't come into this season with blind optimism. They came in armed with expectations and receipts. They were promised pace. They got confusion. They were promised star-focused basketball. They got a clunky ensemble cast with no lead. And now, the same people who sold them the dream are watching the house burn down from the front porch. Kelly Crosskopf silent. GM Amber Cox nowhere. Stephanie White still insisting this is part of the process. But here's the thing about process, you only get so much time before people start asking for results. Especially when your generational star looks visibly frustrated in pressers and your veterans are still figuring out how to play next to her. You sold a vision, now deliver or step aside. This wasn't supposed to happen, not if you listen to Fever leadership back in 2024. In a press conference that now feels like it came from a parallel universe, President Kelly Crosskopf laid it out crystal clear. We want to play like the Pacers, fast-paced, creative, built around a point guard like Caitlyn Clark. Not vague, not coded. A direct promise to build the offense around her. Play fast, let her dictate tempo, surround her with weapons. And at the time, fans loved it. The YouTube comments called her sharp, visionary, the kind of leader this franchise needed. But now that same clip feels like salt in the wound. Because the offense we're watching, it's the opposite. Slower, clunkier, confused. They didn't just fail to deliver the vision. They delivered something fans never asked for. And it makes you wonder, was this the plan all along? Let's connect the dots, because if the president promised Clark-centric basketball, then why is the coach running a system where she barely touches the ball? Meet Stephanie White. At her introductory presser, she echoed the same buzzwords: fast, up-tempo, free-flowing. Everyone nodded, fans got excited. But words are cheap, systems are real. And what we've seen this season is a rigid, structured offense that looks allergic to improvisation. Now go one step further. Before she coached the Fever, White worked as a commentator. And during one Mavericks broadcast, she let something slip. Talking about Luka Doncic, she said, "When he's not on the floor, the ball moves more, everyone gets involved, it pops." She didn't say it directly, but you could hear it. She doesn't love heliocentric basketball. She prefers 5-pass possessions over superstar domination. That's a style, but it's not the style you use when Caitlyn Clark is your point guard. And if she didn't believe in that vision from day one, why was she hired at all? There's still time, but not much. Caitlyn's on a rookie contract, Aaliyah Boston's locked in, and the Fever have cap space, serious cap space. They could bring in a star, they could reshape the system. And names are already floating. Sabally, for one, could be a perfect fit. Versatile, athletic, runs the floor, can stretch the defense. But here's the problem. No elite free agent is signing with a team unless the vision is clear. And right now, Indiana's vision looks like a fogged-up windshield in a thunderstorm. The roster doesn't fit the coach doesn't fit the star, and the star might not stick around. This isn't just a personnel problem. It's a leadership crisis. Funny thing, the Fever already had the model for success. It was playing across the street in the exact same city. The Indiana Pacers took Tyrese Halliburton, handed him the keys, and built a system around him. Fast, unselfish, guard-led, and suddenly a lottery team was lighting up scoreboards and making playoff noise. Tyrese controls tempo, dictates pace, and thrives when the ball runs through him. Sound familiar? That's exactly the kind of player Caitlyn Clark is. But here's the twist. The Fever said they wanted to mirror that exact model. and then hired a coach who built something else entirely. Unleash, don't leash. You don't give a maestro a triangle offense and expect a symphony. The Pacers trusted their stars' instincts. Why didn't the Fever do the same? Let's talk dollars, because this isn't just about basketball. It's about leverage. The WNBA is raking in historic numbers. Media rights, viewership, ticket sales, merchandise, every metric is climbing. And yet the players, they're getting just 9.3% of total league revenue. For comparison, NBA players get 50%. So when someone like Caitlin Clark drives billions in value and sees role players disrespecting her on the court, when she watches coaches sideline her in the system she made relevant, it's not just frustrating, it's insulting. Value deserves value. If you don't compensate it, acknowledge it, or build around it, it walks. And fans, they won't stick around for the brand. They'll follow the player who gave them a reason to care. Ignore that and you'll feel it at the box office. Let's be honest, this isn't New York, it's not LA, it's not even Vegas. Indiana is a small market, always has been. That's not a weakness if you play it right. Small markets can thrive when they build identity, cohesion, and belonging. But if they start treating generational players like they're disposable, like just another cog in some long-term brand strategy, they'll lose those stars and they'll never get them back. Look at the expansion teams. Golden State just paid $500 million for the Valkyries. They're coming in hot, flashy, and loaded with opportunity. Vegas is stacking talent. New York has marketing reach that dwarfs the entire Midwest. Big markets loom. And if Indiana doesn't make itself matter now, it may never again. In small markets, the star is the brand. Lose her and the whole house collapses. Let's go there. Let's imagine Caitlin Clark walks in 3 years. Trade, free agency, doesn't matter. She's gone. What happens? Attendance cut in half overnight. TV slots gone. National relevance back to the basement. Merch sales crater. Sponsors disappear. That energy you felt this year, that buzz, that pride, gone like it never happened. Because the truth is, this isn't just about basketball. It's about identity. And right now, Caitlin Clark is Indiana's identity. Lose her and you don't just lose games. You lose meaning. And good luck selling season tickets to a team that let the most exciting player in league history walk because leadership couldn't get on the same page. Think this can be fixed in a few years. Think again. Only 5 of the last 20 WNBA champions were led by rookie head coaches. Development takes time, but windows don't wait. You've got Aaliyah Boston on a rookie deal. You've got Caitlin on a rookie deal. You've got cap space, league buzz, and all eyes on Indiana. Right now is the window. And if you don't capitalize on it now, the rest of the league will. Because the league is growing. And growth doesn't forgive bad management. It rewards teams that get it right fast. This isn't a rebuild, this is a test. So here we are. One soundbite blew up on social media, sure. But it wasn't the problem. It was the symptom. The symptom of a leadership group that said all the right things, and then built the wrong team, hired the wrong coach, and ran the wrong system. They said they'd build an offense like the Pacers. They said free agents would line up to play with Caitlin. They said the coach would bring pace and tempo. They didn't lie. They just failed. And now Fever fans are left wondering, can this front office actually build around the most important player in women's basketball, or are they slowly pushing her out the door? Because if they don't course correct fast, the Apple dream is dead. And Indiana doesn't just go back to losing games. They go back to being irrelevant. That press conference may be old, but it just reopened every wound Fever fans hoped was healing. And if this team doesn't fix the vision, fix the roster, and give Caitlin Clark the keys she was promised, it won't matter how bold the marketing is, or how flashy the jerseys look, or how many times they say the word brand. Because the truth is simple. Fans didn't buy into the Fever. They bought into her. Next video, we're breaking down how the Golden State Valkyries just reshaped the NBA's entire financial ecosystem, and why their entrance might be the biggest threat to Indiana's future. Subscribe so you don't miss it, because what happens next might shock everyone. This story is presented for entertainment and commentary purposes only. It is not professional, legal, or financial advice. Consult a qualified expert if you need help with any decisions.